Hey guys, welcome back to The Binger. SpongeBob SquarePants is one of the most popular cartoons out there, and it's not hard to see why. The show constantly pushes the envelope, but while they get away with a lot of stuff, there's also a lot that Nickelodeon cuts. Join us as we take a look at deleted SpongeBob scenes Nickelodeon couldn't show. Mr. Krabs is one of the most interesting characters in SpongeBob SquarePants for multiple reasons. He seems like a pretty good guy and he loves his daughter Pearl, but there's one thing that he values above everything else. That sweet, sweet cash money, baby. Seriously, Mr. K is more focused on the grind than Cardi B, and that's saying something. In the episode Clams, our favorite crab is over the moon when he makes his millionth dollar. He's thrilled and naturally wants to share this happy moment with the people he considers nearest and dearest. In a deleted sequence, he picks up the phone and tells his mom and dad about his triumph. Things soon turn dark when the camera pans to two tombstones in a graveyard, showing audiences that Mr. Krabs' parents aren't alive. We can only assume that the studio thought it was a little too morbid to put in a kids' TV show. Let's face it, no one wants to see a crab talking to his deceased parents. It does beg the question though, did Mr. Krabs know they were gone and was talking to them anyway? Or is he really that bad of a son that he doesn't know that his parental units have shipped out? Which one is worse? Cast your mind back to season 3 when Bikini Bottom gets caked in snow. Yeah. It's a little weird considering that they're under the sea. We let a lot of things go in the name of being good sports, but how does this work? Is it some sort of weird chemical powder dropped by a passing ship, or actually snow? Snow melts in the water, surely it would be ice. Anyway, we digress. Patrick and SpongeBob are frolicking in the strange substance when a snowball fight turns serious. Squidward gets involved and becomes a little too obsessed by the whole thing. He's the kind of guy that tends to get a little head up about things easily. So he's probably been waiting for a release like this. With a devious smile, he starts pummeling SpongeBob and Patrick. He even builds his own snow fortress as a base. In a scrapped snippet, viewers would have been treated to a tour of the dungeon. It featured torture devices, headless snowmen, and all sorts of weird and frankly kinky stuff that just isn't appropriate for kids. Squidward comes across as the type that has some skeletons in his closet. We just probably won't ever get to see them. And a good job too, that's never getting past the censors. Is there anything more infamous in the SpongeBob world than a Krabby Patty? If these were available in real life, they would sell out in a flash. Mickey D's is missing a trick with this. Those burgers are the driving force behind many brilliant storylines. Lest we forget that famous episode where SpongeBob falls in love with one that eventually rots and stinks to high heaven. It's a doozy, but so is this early episode. Just one bite. Despite having worked around the burgers for some time, Squidward hadn't tried one before. When he tries to sneak into the Krusty Krab to get a taste, the awkward goon blows himself up when a bucket of gasoline drops on his head. For the first time, the scene aired in the episode like it was no big deal. It didn't take long for producers to worry that kids might try to do this for real, so it was removed from reruns. Probably a good job too. No one wants kids to try this out on a friend and blame it on the show. It might be a cartoon, but children don't always realize that there's a line between what's real and what isn't. Bless their souls. It goes without saying that curse words in cartoons are a massive no-no. Unless you're an Adult Swim creation. Even then, you've gotta be careful. Cartoons always attract younger viewers no matter who they're intended for. They just love the bright colors and awkward situations. Can't say we blame them though, right? In the Sailor Mouth episode, all curse words were replaced with dolphin noises. It sounds completely ridiculous, but worked so well it became a fan favorite. SpongeBob walks into the restaurant exclaiming profanities, but it's all covered up by the gentle bleating of a dolphin. Is that the right word, or is that something goats do? Later on, Patrick and SpongeBob are playing a game that gets a little heated. Unsure how to vent his frustration, SpongeBob tells his buddy to go dolphin noise himself. You can fill in the blanks on that one. It ended up on the cutting room floor according to writers, although it's not clear why. Patrick apparently responded with, "Dolphin noise you too." We wonder how many kids went into the school the next day speaking in this code. It's not exactly hard to figure out, so a fair few squirts probably got busted too. There have been some really out there storylines on SpongeBob. That's what makes it so brilliant. Adults and kids alike can get into it, and there's something there for everyone. In Sleepy Time, SpongeBob finds himself able to invade the dreams of the inhabitants of Bikini Bottom. Most of us would use this power for the greater good, or just have a nose around. SpongeBob? Well, he puts himself in the bed of Pearl, Mr. Krabs' teenage daughter. Yeah, that's a little weird. The small deleted scene has little to no context, so it's really not clear why SpongeBob is in Pearl's bed. Is there really any good reason for a middle-aged sponge to get into an innocent whale's bed? Maybe her pillows were fluffier and her quilt was warmer. I mean, let's hope that that's the only reason. The alternatives really don't bear thinking about in the long run. Sounds fishy to us. Sorry, we had to slip that one in there. Plankton. He's a scheming mastermind with only one goal: to get the secret formula of the Krabby Patties. Although he is a dastardly devil, SpongeBob gets on well with him. Maybe it's because they're both as nuts as each other, but the dynamics seem to work. In the episode Fun, SpongeBob takes his miniature buddy on a nice day out. It's not a dinner date or a movie. Instead, they go do something sporty: jellyfishing. Everything seems to be going swimmingly, but the deleted part was a little bit too close to the knuckle. What viewers didn't see was Plankton grabbing the jellyfish net, turning it around, and pointing it like a firearm. He makes shooting noises as he does so, like he's taking out the entire jellyfish population. This bit was cut out for good reason. No one wants kids thinking it's okay to walk around pretending to shoot people. There is an ongoing debate about the appropriateness of toy guns, so it's probably best that this was scrapped. But sure, it's not actual violence, but cartoon depictions can normalize it, and it's better to be safe than sorry. SpongeBob loves Sandy, doesn't he? From the very first moment they met, fans hoped that these two would seal the deal. While there are times when a mutual affection seems shared, it never happens. This could be because SpongeBob is gay, as a lot of fans believe. Others, including late SpongeBob creator Steven Hillenburg, think that SpongeBob is just asexual and not interested in anyone. Whatever the case is, SpongeBob definitely loves Sandy as a friend, regardless of anything else. In one episode, the underwater squirrel becomes so homesick that she decides to return home to Texas. Her yellow BFF is so upset that he can't contain himself. What viewers didn't see was SpongeBob turn into some sort of weird red angry thing. Writers originally planned for him to get so messed up that he almost explodes. The stills from the scrap scene show him utterly distraught, like he's bursting at the seams. It's hard to know why this one was thrown in the trash can, but it might just be upsetting to younger viewers. Maybe they didn't want kids to think that's how people should react when someone leaves. It's a real mystery. Gary is the kind of pet that most people accidentally stand on. For us real-life humans, snails are just those annoying things that eat our plants in the garden. Sure, they look sort of cute in a strange way, but they live outside, not inside. As cats don't live underwater, writers opted for the next best thing for SpongeBob. Gary the pet snail is a cute little whippersnapper that doesn't do very much at all. SpongeBob takes care of him and really loves him. When he goes missing in one episode, he's absolutely heartbroken. Eventually, he discovers that Gary is with an old lady called Granny. She's not the kind of granny that fluffs pillows and makes tea, though. She's on a snail-eating mission. Granny is busy fattening Gary up so she can guzzle him down. It's quite a disturbing episode on the whole, as Granny has a cupboard full of empty snail shells. That's quite the warning. Towards the end of it, the crazed character chases SpongeBob's pet around with a plate of cookies. That's not bad, right? It could have been worse. Writers wanted Granny to chase Gary with an axe, but that was deemed too unacceptable for kids' TV. The good news is that Gary got away in the end. Huzzah! Have you ever wondered how close SpongeBob really is to Gary? They spend a lot of time together, so is it really as innocent as it sounds? This is SpongeBob, so it probably is, but in the episode New Digs, things were supposed to get funky. SpongeBob moves into the Krusty Krab, and during a conversation with his buddies, writers had him talking about milking Gary. Yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with this. For a start, how exactly does one milk a snail? Because that sounds gross. Staff toyed with the idea of having SpongeBob drain Gary of his juices for viewers to see, but it was dropped. Maybe it was just a little too gross, especially as Gary is, in fact, a male snail. Thinking about the visuals and the dynamics of that process is too much for most people. Plus, what if kids actually started trying to milk your garden variety snail? That's a lot of mess for parents to clean up, plus a whole heap of explaining about anatomy. Nickelodeon clearly put the kibosh on this for the sake of everyone's sanity. We can't blame them for this one. Living with ghosts probably is a bit of a bummer. They borrow things without returning them, move stuff around, and you never know what seat they're in. All those problems are magnified for SpongeBob when he ends up living with the Flying Dutchman in the episode Ghost Host. The deceased captain is a little bit of a nuisance, but he loves to party. In fact, his antics had writers shooting out ideas left, right, and center. In total, 12 scenes were cut from the final edit for one reason or another. One scene in particular featured the Dutchman getting cozy with another character after a party. Presumably after a night of good chess playing, Susie asks her companion when she's going to see him again. The Dutchman creepily replies, "When you least expect it, baby." That's wrong on a hugely creepy level, so thank goodness it got snipped out of the completed episode. We're all for a little bit of humor, but this took it a little too far. Do you think it was the SpongeBob creators who had the change of heart and got rid of it, or do you think it was Nickelodeon with their moral compass? Is this all news to you, or did you know about some of these other scenes? Sound off in the comment section down below. Before you head off, be sure to give this video a nice big thumbs up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button either, so you don't miss a thing from us here at The Binger. Until next time, thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.